Hello, this is Dr. Branje. Today's question is, can I analyze the Kellyanne Conway controversy involving her daughter, Claudia? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So Kellyanne Conway is a political consultant who served as the senior counselor to Donald Trump when he was president. At the time of making this video, she is 54 years old. Before that, she ran his campaign starting in August of 2016. She is married to a lawyer named George Conway and has 4 children: Claudia, George, Charlotte, and Vanessa. Kellyanne Conway has been involved in various controversies over the years. A few examples: her use of the phrase alternative facts, which of course are otherwise known as falsehoods. She promoted Ivanka Trump's merchandise during an interview in which Kellyanne was in her role as a federal employee. Kellyanne sat on a couch in the Oval Office with her legs folded beneath her. Her shoes were pushing into the upholstery. Some people found it to be less than respectful. In 2019, the U.S. Office of Special Counsel cited Kellyanne for violating the Hatch Act. She was disparaging Democratic presidential candidates while functioning in her official capacity. In August of 2020, after months of publicly feuding with her daughter Claudia, Kellyanne announced that she was stepping down from her position to devote more time to family matters. Claudia Conway became popular on social media, including TikTok and Twitter. At the time I'm making this video, she is 16 years old. Many of the posts that Claudia makes are controversial. She is anti-Trump and has been highly critical of her mother. Claudia has been active on social media since 2015, but it was in 2020 when she became exceedingly popular. Let's take a look at some of her statements and events in the timeline. She has said that she feels shut down by her family. They argue about politics all the time. Her mother asked her to take down some of her videos, but Claudia respectfully declined. She has wished her mother success and fortune, so we see kind of a back and forth here. Some of her more popular videos about politics have disappeared, perhaps indicating that her parents weren't too happy about what she was posting. Her father has asked the media to stop contacting his daughter. Claudia claims that her father attempted to delete her social media profiles. At one point, she seemed to indicate that she should be drifting away from talking about her parents, but it didn't take too long before she resumed. The back and forth between Claudia and her mother has been vitriolic at times, with Claudia referring to Kellyanne's arguments as idiotic at one point. Claudia has also referred to Kellyanne Conway as Smelly Kelly. In August of 2020, Claudia posted a TikTok video that listed the events of 2020. Among the items, we see that Claudia indicated that she was clinically depressed, had been assaulted, has experienced non-stop CPS investigations, and suggested that her mother had her arrested. Later, she said she was looking for a family lawyer, and not long after this was talking about pursuing emancipation. She said this was because of years of childhood trauma and abuse. After both Kellyanne and George left their jobs, Claudia posted a video seeming to take credit for George having left his position. She accused her parents of not being genuine and putting on a show. Later, Claudia would imply that she made her mother leave the White House and had taken down the Trump administration to save America. So Claudia positions herself as a hero. At some point around October 2020, Kellyanne Conway tested positive for COVID-19. Claudia would later claim that she also contracted the illness. Claudia made some statements suggesting that when Trump had COVID-19, his condition was worse than reported. She retracted those statements. Then she said that she was appalled of the mainstream media's efforts to exploit a teenage girl. It was negatively affecting her mental health. This takes us to January of 2021. Claudia posted 2 compilation videos on TikTok, which have since been deleted. Both videos feature what appears to be arguing. In the first video, Kellyanne Conway appears to be accusing Claudia Conway of posting lies. In the second, it appears as though Kellyanne says, You're never going to record another blank thing in your life. It's going for a forensic analysis. Claudia has said that she's tried everything, but her parents are too powerful. In another video, she called out Pierre from CPS, accusing the worker of failing her. This brings us to late January 2021. We see these reports suggesting that Kellyanne posted a video of Claudia on Twitter on January 25, in which Claudia was not wearing a top. 4 police officers paid a visit on January 26. They were in there for about an hour. I wonder if these officers are reevaluating their career choice. I also wonder why it requires 4 officers to investigate this type of offense. If there was a robbery in progress, would they send a bus full of officers? Seems disproportionate. We also see an Instagram video posted by Tana Mangeau, another influencer, which appears to show that she's communicating with Claudia via FaceTime as Claudia is having a discussion with Kellyanne and a police officer. Kellyanne appears to say a few things, including, "You are addicted, you need serious evaluation, you think TikTok is real." Kellyanne also denied uploading an inappropriate photo. Claudia says to Kellyanne, "I wish the world could see you like this." At the end of the video, it appears as though a police officer disconnected the call between Mangeau and Claudia Conway. Claudia would later post saying that members of the public should stop contacting the authorities about the matter. She believes hackers are responsible for the photo, so she's saying that her mother was not responsible. Moving to my analysis. I will offer my theory about what's happening based on the evidence that's available, but it is important to keep in mind that nothing in this case has been verified. All we see in this case is a lot of speculation that has been assembled with a series of TikTok videos and other social media posts. It would appear as though there's a lot of tension in the Conway household. Claudia has certainly posted a lot of sensitive and insulting content about her parents. It is really not clear why they wouldn't simply remove her social media access altogether. Perhaps they are trying to balance her freedom versus security. They know she's posting all this caustic material, but they don't want to come down too hard on her. I think that the whole political side of this is probably nothing more than a smokescreen. Claudia doesn't seem to have a clear image of this domain. She appears to be against her mother because her mother worked for Trump, but Claudia also doesn't get along with her father, and he's just about as anti-Trump as a person could get. Additionally, she accuses the mainstream media of targeting her. They tend to lean left. One would think that she would picture them as an ally. It's more likely that we're not seeing a sophisticated debate about political topics as much as a 16-year-old girl who is perhaps rebelling a little bit against her parents and or responding to disagreements between family members. This is pretty common. The difference with this case would be that she is popular on social media because of who her parents are. Many people who follow her probably believe that they can help save her from her parents and promote her political ideology, but that's not what's happening. My guess is that much of her audience is fairly young and probably empathizes with Claudia's situation, like her views that her parents are overbearing and phony. This isn't a matter for the public to resolve. This is a private family matter that the Conway family is going to have to figure out on their own, without the assistance of social media. As far as the illicit photo, the police coming out, and Kellyanne Conway allegedly yelling at Claudia at various times, it's too early to know what's going on there. A few tips do come to mind, though. I think it would probably be a good idea not to take those types of photos in the first place. With all the recording devices in the house, it's also probably not a good idea to yell at each other. Perhaps everybody in the situation should greatly restrict their activity on social media. Is social media so invasive at that household that nobody can seem to shut it off? Nobody can turn off the phones or unplug devices? This is a bit like climbing into a snake pit and saying, "I don't know why the snakes keep biting me. I was just minding my own business when I climbed in here and started stepping on them." I think this is a good example of how technology has changed communication and interactions in families. It used to be that people could say whatever they wanted without concerns about the public finding out. Now with social media, you never know when you are being recorded. We can now live in a world where nobody can say what they really think. Rather, they can live in fear that something said in anger will be released to the whole world. What does research tell us about the conflict we see in mother-daughter relationships? This relationship is typically characterized by more conflict when the daughter is an adolescent. This is not a surprising finding. Mothers and daughters often disagree about how fast the daughter should be given autonomy. Usually the parents want to slow that down, and the daughter wants to speed that up. Most of the time, these conflicts resolve, but sometimes they become chronic. Here are a few of the characteristics of the conflicts that tend to persist. They are characterized by shame. Both the mother and daughter feel ashamed that they can't get along. Society tells them that they have a special relationship. They're supposed to be best friends or really close. How can it be that they are arguing? We see poor listening skills. At some point, it stops becoming about learning, and it becomes about proving oneself to be correct. So like who can yell the loudest or make the most posts on social media. They look for others to solve problems. Both the mother and the daughter look for allies outside of the relationship. Both want to expose the other's bad behavior. The introduction of a third party into a mother-daughter conflict is almost always associated with that conflict getting worse. There are, of course, exceptions, like when laws are broken, but generally, this is a failing strategy. Here we see that Claudia has brought in 1.6 million third parties on TikTok. After all the different events I mentioned in this case, Claudia posted saying that she was irrational and impulsive, and that she and her mother love each other. Perhaps a realization that would have been more useful if it occurred a year ago, but maybe things are now moving in the right direction for Kellyanne and Claudia Conway. Those are my thoughts on this case. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be interesting. Thanks for watching.